I am honored to be here. Anytime the center of gravity is economic development, you've got my undivided attention. Deidre, you know, what you shared with me last spring, I had no idea it would culminate into this event. I am honored to be a part of it. And let me start with Warrick. Let me throw the first punch, man. Me and you are here and we're talking, and I just want to tell you, this paragon of excellence, every year I close out my academic year at school. My last class in the spring is always take a millionaire to lunch. And over more than a 20-year period, I've had all types of game changers come speak to my students. Everybody from Iyanla Vanzant to Steve Harvey. When Warrick Dunn accepted it, it really touched my heart. Why? Because so many students needed to hear his story. And, you know, it's one thing to climb the mountain of success. It's something totally different to climb the rough side of the mountain. Something totally different to climb the back stairs to success. And he has a story that resonated with so many of my students. So before we go any further, if you please, let's give this man the type of applause that he richly deserves.
Boy, yes. Stop it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
In the words of that old rapper Flavor Flav, let's get this party started right. And I know of no other better question to ask him right off the jump. Okay, Warrick, so you got your foundation, Warrick Dunn Charities, you're building homes for those who need it the most. Give us a success story. Tell us any type of new initiatives that you have going on right now.
I appreciate that. You're very emotional, so I can see you screaming at the audience. So I apologize for Dr. Kimbro. So, you know, Warrick Dunn Charities has been around now for 16 years, but the Homes for the Holidays program has been around for 21 years. Wow. So we've helped 173 single-parent families who are becoming first-time homeowners. And we have a success rate over the last 21 years. Thank you. We have a success rate over the last 21 years of a 92% success rate of families that are still in their home or they sold their home and bought another home. So we've, over the last 20 years, I've learned a lot about just affordable housing, some of the issues families deal with, and over the years, we just really grew the organization to have more support services. So we have this program called Count on Your Future Financial Literacy Program, where we really try to incentivize and help families save money, not just understand checks and balances in a checkbook, but save money. So we match them up to $500. So we tell them, if you invest $500, we're going to give you $500. So they have $1,000 they can start off and invest in, and have access to a financial advisor for at least a year, where they can go and work on budgeting and so forth. We've also have this health and wellness program that's called Scoped, where we do healthy food initiatives. Over the years, I've come to understand there's a huge issue in this country of child obesity. It's kids not eating complete meals. So we wanted to help educate families on the proper meals that they can cook quick meals. When I was growing up, my grandmother started dinner at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it took her all day, right? So everyone is working not just 40 hours a week, but sometimes 50, 60, 70 hours a week. They don't have time to cook these hour-long meals. So we try to educate them on cooking quick, effective meals, healthy meals for their kids, but also we try to teach them to shop, the proper way to shop. Yes. Use coupons. Yes. I mean, some people, they have so much pride where they don't want to use coupons. I mean, I would use coupons, trust me. But we try to educate families on that. And the other thing that we've learned too over the years is that we try to educate families on, you know, you can actually grow your own vegetables. So we have the part of the workshop is they can build their own vegetable box, grow their own vegetables in their backyard. So we really try to be holistic a little bit with that and educate families. And we also have a scholarship program where we give $1,000 scholarships to individuals that are in the state of Georgia, Louisiana, and Florida. pretty much all the flagship markets that the charity started off in, we give $1,000 scholarships. So it's just trying to help people that are trying to advance their lives and do a little bit better.
You just answered what I thought was going to be my next question in terms of how do you economically support the city of Atlanta when you are really national. But if you could give those in the audience a frame of reference, what is the actual demographic? I know these are single women. What is the actual demographic of these individuals economically, education, and
Well,
the like?
it's pretty much low income, 80% below the median income here, and it really depends on the county as well.
Okay.
But we help not just single moms, we help single fathers. Over the 21 years, we have 4 single fathers. And when these programs, we help everybody. We don't care if they're married, we want the whole family to come. And earlier this year, we started the Count on Your Future program, and not just focusing on the parents, but we also now are working with the kids. Right? We want them to start to understand the dollar early on in life. So we've really just tried to be a little bit more holistic and touch the whole family.
Is it basically the lack of maybe formal education, or is it the lack of financial literacy that poses the main obstacle and object? Changing that mindset that they could be homeowners and they could actually use that equity and leverage for, other things that they may want to do in life.
Well, I would tell you is probably the biggest challenge is that they just don't know what they have access to. They really don't understand and don't know the steps to take. So sometimes you have to educate someone to take the first step in life, and once you take the step, but we all have to support that individual to move them forward. And we're trying to provide just a little bit of push, because I don't really believe, and I don't believe in just giving someone something who hadn't worked for it. And they have to have some equity into it. I'm gonna put a little bit into it. We're gonna, go down the road and hold each other accountable.
Okay. Any success stories that you could share that immediately come to mind? I mean, you've been doing this for more than 20 years and 173 homes.
I have a lot of success stories. I do have a family that's in Tampa, and the mom actually sold her house, went back to school and got a raise, new position, bought a new home. Her kid is in college playing football in the state of Missouri right now. So they've really just taken off. I have other recipients that reach out to me to talk about, how can I help them and help their kid move forward. So we do have a lot of success stories, and I know everyone really talks about Deshaun Watson and what his mom helped him do, right?
Yes.
But a lot of this stuff really starts with having stable housing, right?
Okay.
You have a stable environment, you create that stability in a kid's life, and that really pushes them to move forward.
Now, you've had some major milestones. You galvanized an event when you bestowed your 100th home?
We did 100, our 100th home was here in Atlanta.
And former President Carter.
President Carter showed up. He was there. He was, I know right now he's have health issues, but he was real vibrant then, and he was gracious enough to come and really be a part of the presentation. So he helped hand the keys over, walk through the home with the family. So it was, it's just another opportunity to witness a life-changing moment, and that was our 100th home.
And that's what I was alluding to. Okay, so that's a major event, but it's a major event for both you and for the homeowners. Help me, wrap my mind around that. What did that mean to you, specifically, to give away your 100th home? And what did that mean to all the homeowners that this is the first time you pulled them all together and saw, what one individual, I know you got a team, but it was your dream, has bestowed in the difference you made. What's going through your mind?
Well, I would tell you, it was my mom's dream. So honestly, when I started this in 1997, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I wasn't thinking about 100 homes, years later. I just wanted to help one family, because my journey as a kid, living in 6 different places and not really having a place that you can call home, not having lifelong friends, childhood friends, and understanding what my mom issue was.
Okay.
Right? So we used to live places, and that was free rent because she was secured at at an apartment complex. I mean, that's how we got around, but I understood that she couldn't afford money for a down payment. She couldn't afford, if we did move into a home, to fully furnish it. So that's what the basics really came about, and I wanted to, over the years, just really impact people in a way that was struggling like my mom. And I could just tell you, handing over the keys and seeing these life-changing moments, it's touched me. And I've used the program over the years as therapy and had no idea. This is even before I started going to counseling. Okay. This program I was using as therapy because it was helping me deal and cope with the things that I was missing in my life, and that was my mom.
Wow. Years ago, to set up the next question, I might have been the last individual to interview John Johnson, the founder of Ebony Magazine. And some of you heard this story before, but it bears repeating. There I am seated across the desk from him. We're on the 10th floor of Johnson Publication in Chicago. And he said to me, he said, young man, you don't go around the country interviewing folks on leadership, wealth, and success. He said, all you got to do is watch a relay race. And I said, what do you mean, Mr. Johnson? And he said, a relay race isn't won or lost on how fast the runners are. Relay race is won or lost on how capable one runner passes that baton from one to the next. So I share that story, with that type of metaphor. As you've been at this game now for a while, those parents that you initially helped, are they passing that baton on financial literacy, the keys to the kingdom in terms of mindset, okay, down to their children and throughout their community?
Well, what we've tried to do is we want to eliminate their excuse to do that. So that's why we're trying to be a little bit more holistic and include the whole family. Because everybody's struggling and they're trying to get on their feet and really get a solid footing for themselves. So we're trying to have more, like I said, a holistic approach where we want to touch the whole family and be creating a sustainable environment that is much more long-term and have more impact long-term. So.
Okay, so NFL player, entrepreneur, philanthropist, rubbing shoulders with the best and the brightest. How does anybody build a sustainable business? How does anybody build a sustainable enterprise or organization or whatever? What are the keys to the kingdom?
Well, it's, I would say, relationships. Right? For me, when I came to Atlanta, I developed a relationship with Arthur Blank. I mean, over the years, it just really grew to be close. We had the same passion, the same values. Just over the years, I understood what it took, one, to be a leader, but also what it takes. You can't do it alone as one individual, so you need a team of people. And I just really tried to watch him and communicate with him and see how he moves and shakes and the people that he knew. And just over the course of time, he really tried to open up his arms to me and says, well, I'm gonna help you take the next step. And who knew that I would become a partner is because of, he felt like this would be a great opportunity for you to grow as a businessman. And from that, I just learned that you have to have help. You can't do it alone. You can't be in silos. And you can't always think you're the smartest person in the room. You have to surround yourself with a great team of people that can help lead you to success. And he has a great team around him. A lot of people that advise him, but he's really forward thinking. And as leaders, we have to forward think and think not today, but what the future is going to be like 10, 5 years from now.
I met a gentleman who was with one time the Arthur Blank Foundation, and he told me, I was just trying to be inquisitive. What are the words, that he lives by, whatever. And I'm paraphrasing now, Warrick. He said that Arthur Blank's favorite saying is, when you're between a rock and a hard place, do whatever you can do, then make the impossible occur. And what does that mean to you? I mean, here you walk side by side with him in some cases.
Yeah, but our journey is different, right? So we all have our own journey. And I can tell you when I lost my mom at 18 years old, my journey was, okay, I have 5 people, and I count 6, my grandmother, who I have to also support. Right? What am I going to do? And I had to figure things out, but also when you're limited in funds, I just really grew up on a need basis. I'm going to spend the money and invest in the things that I need, not necessarily the things that I want. And I know a lot of people who know me know that I'm a little frugal, a little tight with funds.
And that's a complete different mindset because you were playing ball in the NFL, and we know a lot of times, man.
But you know, my experience, college and pro, is a lot different than other players, right? So you got to think, I didn't buy my first car until my 8th year playing professional football. The only thing I invested in was a house, right? Because I felt like it's important that my brothers and sisters have a stable environment. And when I was living and playing in Tampa, I moved the youngest 3 in with me. So you can only imagine, I'm playing professional football. I'm going to PTA meetings, you know, support. I'm doing everything that a parent who had grown kids would do instead of being, you know, just regular year, my second year. I'm not out hanging out with teammates, right? My focus was more family. And that has really driven me to understand what individuals need, what the challenges are a little bit. So I just really have to grow. I grew and understood that I need to spend the money and do the things that I needed in this moment, and the future would take care of itself. So I grew up on a need basis, and I just tried to be really strategic about where I spent dollars. And I was thinking about 20, 30 years. It's like, what type of lifestyle do I want to live 40 years from now? That was my mindset. And I put myself in a position that I can actually invest in the Falcons. And when you do an investment like that, that's money that I just give away. I don't see it, I have to pretend it's gone, and now I still have to live a specific, you know, I want to live a certain lifestyle. So I have to, it's about money management, and I've been able to manage funds enough that, you know, I'm not struggling to live the lifestyle that I want to live today.
A dear friend said to me that your life truly doesn't begin until you live outside and you live outside your comfort zone. What would that mean to you?
Well, I think I've been living outside my comfort zone for, and this is before my mom had passed. I mean, when I was 14 years old, we were having grown-up conversations. I was having to make decisions about the direction of the family. And when she passed, all that responsibility fell on me. So to get out of my comfort zone, I had to go out and not think that I was too prideful to go and ask for help. I mean, I had individuals in my life that I used that were mentors that I relied on for advice, and you know, I went and talked to them. When I was at Florida State, I went to Coach Bowden's office almost every week because I'm trying to raise kids from afar. I'm in Tallahassee, they're in Baton Rouge, that's 5 hours away, 5.5 hours, and I'm trying to chastise them over the phone. That really don't work. Right. And my sister's a teenager, she's dating. Like, how do I handle that? I mean, it's crazy. But Coach Bowden gave me stories about, you know, this is what I did with Tommy and Terry and such. And I took those examples, and that helped me formulate an idea of how I could, you know, put parameters around my family and how I can get external support as well, because I was there, so I needed other people around that can help make sure things stay together. So I really relied on, you know, other individuals that helped me, mentors, and I don't even think they knew that they were my mentor. But I relied on them in a way that I just asked a lot of questions if I didn't know, wasn't prideful, and I just took that knowledge and utilized it to the best of my ability.
And you basically answered the next question. I know that, all right, so this program, the focus is low income, building sustainable businesses, changing the mindset. In our community, all right, 34 million African Americans, less than 2.5 million businesses. When you know, galvanize all the black businesses, we're less than 7% of the GDP here in the country. How do we get those particular low-income communities to embrace the capitalist mindset?
Well, it has to start with each individual. We have to, one, educate, you know, minorities, low-income individuals, but we have to help them take the first step. They don't know, right? And you know, opportunities are a lot different for low-income families, right? But they don't have the same opportunities, the same access.
Exactly.
So they're going to need more guidance, more direction, but you have to encourage them to take that first step. Once they take the step, everything we do in life we learn from, right? And when I played the game of football, the more I played, the more I learned, the more I started to understand, I can't run here, I got to watch for this safety, so the game just became a lot easier. In the game of life, definitely when you work on business and growing your business, is that you have to learn from those mistakes, because nothing's going to be perfect, but we can't have a mindset where we just give up. You have to continue to fight through it. And I just think over the course of time, we will understand, but it takes support. I need your help. We all need to help each other, and we have to have a support system to do that.
Outside of Mr. Blank and outside, I guess, Tony Dungy and other coaches around, who had, I guess, the most profound impact on your life?
I have this guy who's my Little League coach. His name is Malin Brooks. I call him Pops. His nickname is Choo Choo. He taught me the game of football, but he also taught me about life. Not having my dad around in my life, he was my father figure. And he was an individual that he made mistakes as a grown-up, right? And he turned his life around. And from his mistakes, he tried to educate me and teach me these are the things not to do. But he gave me all these examples that I was able to take the knowledge that he shared, and even today, I reach out to him and get his opinion, and I try to bounce things off of him. And he has a certain mindset. He became a Jehovah's Witness, so you can only imagine when I talk to him, he's preaching about the Jehovah. He's, I gotta deal with that. And I said, Pops, I love you, man, but can we just move on, right? But just his knowledge of the things that he has been through has really propelled me to have a better balance of life. Because I have my own issues. I have issues in my life that I need someone that I can lean on and get support from, and he's my support system.
Last question. If you could, give one piece of advice, not just to anybody here in the audience, but you walk down the street, everybody knows Warrick Dunn, blah, blah, blah. If you could give one piece of advice that would set anybody on the fast track to success from an economic standpoint, whether it's mentorship, whether it's getting advisors, whether it's saving your money, whether it's taking a financial literacy course, whatever, what would it be?
That's tough. But I would say, first of all, I live in the moment of this. These are the things that I need. I can go out and buy things. Do I really need it? No. So I always try to encourage people, focus on the things that you need. Make sure that you give yourself every opportunity to create some stability. Once you create the stability for yourselves, how do you educate the people that are coming behind you? And if you can educate those individuals, you create a support system. It's called teamwork. Football taught me that I can't do it alone. I need this person, this individual. I need a family. I need a community, right, to help me. And for me, it's all about teamwork. It's about commitment and sacrifice. If we make those commitments and sacrifice to do the little things that we need today, we want to create a better environment and a better future for our kids. So I think for me, teamwork, need us, and spending money on need, because we really need to focus on the things that we need in life to move forward to help each other.
Thank you very much. Well, Deidre and David, once again, Warrick validates everything that I learned in my research. More than 30 years of sitting at the feet of one more game changer. Number one, they dream big dreams, as Warrick elaborated. These individuals have a dream, a passion, something they desperately wanted to accomplish in life. Number two, he walked to a beat of a different drummer. Inner-directive versus outer-directive. He wasn't so quick to believe well-meaning friends and family members who said, you can't do this, you can't do that. And remember the old adage, Robert Frost, two roads diverge in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by. You are different, you are unique. You cannot succeed being like everybody else. As I ask my students all the time, what is the opposite of success? And they say, Dr. Kimbro, failure. And I said, failure is not the opposite of success, conformity is. You will never succeed conforming to the wishes, the norms, and the mores of others. Number three, they dedicated themselves to lifelong learning. Warrick said he had to raise his learning curve. You know, a lot of things that he didn't want to do, but he had to do. This period of life is nothing but a journey, and this is more than a journey. This journey that we call life is a classroom, and it's unlike any classroom that we've ever entered in. Number one, you're not only the student, but you're the teacher. So teach yourself well. And then last but not least, just like Warrick, these individuals flat out refuse to fail. Now, I'm not saying they didn't fail, they actually failed the way to success.
Well, I was just going to say that one of the things that I know drove my high school coach crazy is that I was a rebel. Right? I just never did what the normal individual did. And then when I played professional football, when I came in, I was 170 pounds. I was a rebel, always going against the grain. So I think it was also a will inside that I wasn't going to quit, that I was never going to give up, and I was going to prove. If I had a chip on my shoulder, I was going to prove to you that I can play, that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
Right? I was better than you, better than you. And that's just, I think, also the mindset that I have taken over the years, but also think too, when you're dealing with low-income individuals, you have to have the ability to take time to change their mindset.
Yep.
Right? We have to support them in ways that we give them different opportunities to have different outlooks. So I'm a rebel. There's good and bad to it. Right? But I just think we have to support them in ways that we change their mindset.
Thank you very much, Warrick.
Appreciate it.
God bless you.
Thank you.